Today's day 3 of our Lana sew along, and we're going to be working on prepping our front frame pieces and then attaching our cups to the front frame. Do keep in mind though that if you are doing a lace version of Lana, you're going to do yours a little bit differently. You'll prep your front frame, but then you'll actually attach the back band before you do the cup. So in yesterday's video, you'll notice that I attached elastic to both of my cups, on the side cup and the front cup, and I didn't do a good job of clarifying or explaining why, but this will be my lace demo. We'll pretend that it's lace. And then I also made a set that wasn't shown in the video with lace just on the front cup. So I'm going to show you both ways today how we will prep our frame and then what we will do to attach the cups, because it's a little bit different. So just again, the black will simulate my lace. We'll pretend it's my lace bra. And then the white floral will just be my regular fabric Lana. So sorry if that confused anybody yesterday. So first we will start with our white floral. So that's the one that only has the elastic or the fold over elastic on the front cup. So we'll start with that. You want to take your main frame and your lining frame, and we're just going to do a quick baste. You can use a basting spray, but I'm just going to do a quick stitch on my machine. You could also pin it before you stitch it if you wanted to. Since it was only 2 layers, I just went ahead and did the basting stitch, but you could certainly pin it or clip it if you're more comfortable doing that. Grab your other frame. Make sure you have the lining and the main piece. And we'll go ahead and baste that as well. Okay, if you are doing a regular fabric version and you have not put the elastic on your side cup, you have only put the elastic on the front cup, we are going to match up our notches and attach our cups to the actual frame. So my basting stitch here gathered a little bit. Okay, so you want to take your cup and do keep in mind that the wider part is where it attaches to the band. The narrower part is where your center seam will be. So Remember that when you're attaching your cups. I'm going to match up your notches. And we're just going to quickly clip it or pin it. And you will have to ease it in a little bit, so you'll have to stretch it slightly. You shouldn't have to do a lot of stretching, but you are going to have to ease it in. If you're having to stretch it a lot, I would go back and double check your pattern pieces and make sure that you cut the same size for your cup and your frame. That's one possibility. I know there's so many things that can go wrong when we're sewing. So many variables. Okay, so you can see I have it clipped there. And if I were to open it up like this, that's what it looks like. You can see my front cup, my side cup, and then we'll set that off to the side and we'll clip the other part, clip the other cup. And remember, you want right side to right side for this. You could also baste your cup layers if you wanted to. I probably should have. You want to double check the tutorial for your seam allowance because it does vary. And they are included on the paper pattern pieces already. You don't need to factor in any extra seam allowance. It's already included on the paper piece. So again, here's what it looks like from the front. You can see I have my clips there. And we'll go ahead and switch that back to my zigzag stitch. And we will go ahead and attach it. And again, that's a 3/8 inch seam allowance if you're not using foam. And just so it lays a little bit flatter, I'm going to trim my seam allowance down just a little bit. And at this step, you're welcome to add elastic to the bottom of the cup if you would like that additional support. I'm not going to add elastic, I'm just going to top stitch. But you can add elastic if that is what you're interested in. And I'll show you where to add it here in just a moment. After I finish trimming here. So you would add it right here at the bottom of the cup. Right through there. But I'm not going to do that, I'm just instead going to top stitch. And I'm going to top stitch toward the frame. And once you've finished your first cup, we will attach our second cup to the frame. Remember, that's a 3/8 inch seam allowance unless you're using the foam. And again, I'm going to just trim my seam allowance down a little bit, just so it finishes a little bit smoother. And then I will top stitch. Of course, whatever you do to one cup, you also want to do to the second one. So just make sure that you either add elastic or top stitch, whichever you did to the first cup. And again, we'll top stitch toward the frame. And now that you've finished top stitching that, you can set that to the side as well. Our next step, if you are doing a lace version or you have already attached your elastic to the side cup, we're going to do this one a little bit differently. So you won't need your cups today. Instead, you will use your frame and your band pieces. You would prep your frame the same way. So if you're lining, go ahead and baste your lining to your main piece. And then once you are finished with that step, we'll go ahead and attach the band to the frame. Clip your band piece to your frame piece. It should be right sides together. And I'm just going to put a few clips there. And remember, this is only if you're doing the lace versions or if you've already attached your side cup elastic. If you are doing fabric versions where you haven't attached the side cup elastic yet, you'll do this step tomorrow. So go ahead and attach these. Go ahead to the other side. And then I'm going to trim this seam allowance down just a bit too. And then top stitch. So I'm going to open it up. And then I'll top stitch the other side. And that is it. Your frame is prepped and you are ready to set it aside until tomorrow. We'll see you then for day 4. Bye.